Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to another Wildrose podcast.
And I'm here.
Need your own battle cry, Rob.
So today we wanted to talk about basically things we want to see in Pokemon when it comes to the Nintendo Switch. But very briefly, before we get into that topic, I wanted to ask Rob. On our last podcast, we asked everybody to play some games, and we actually, when I was editing, I realized we asked you to play Super Mario RPG.
Yeah, there was a lot of games that got thrown at me.
That's not the game I ended up telling Rob he should go play. What was the game, Rob?
Oh God, Sonic Chronicles, something.
It's a Sonic the Hedgehog RPG developed by BioWare.
Obviously made a lasting impression on you.
So I'm just curious, so you played a little bit of the game. What's your first impressions?
I
have never played it, for the record, even though it's my game.
Yeah. Yeah, how many unplayed Sonic games do you have now?
Actually, I think a bigger list is how many unplayed games that he has in general.
Yeah, but like he has so many Sonic games.
I do.
I do.
And you know why? I
why?
like Sonic. I think he's a fantastic character.
Mm-hmm.
But undeniably, a lot of his games are garbage.
That's true.
So
That's fair.
Oh, poor Sonic.
I don't know how to...
Somewhere Sonic has cried and he has no idea why.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he has an idea, but...
So, what is the game? I know it's a BioWare RPG.
Yeah, it's technically a turn-based RPG, but the combat's kind of weird. First off, Eggman's dead, as far as anyone knows.
Well, that's an easy start to the game.
Like, there was some sort of, dirigible crash or something, and everyone's like, Eggman's finally been defeated, once and for all. I hope he really is dead this time. They keep talking oh, I hope this isn't Eggman. I hope he didn't survive that crash. So that's weird. It's like a turn-based RPG where it does that thing where you have to use the touch screen to move around, which I never liked. Mm. But anyway, it's a turn-based RPG. I don't know if I made that clear. But basically the way it works is you have rounds instead of turns. So your character will have 2, 3, 4 actions in a round.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then you can set POW moves, which are basically special attacks in any other game. They use PP and whatever. And then you have a standard attack and a standard defend.
Okay.
And so if you use one of the POW attacks, that's just the one action in the round. If you use the attack or defend, that takes up all your remaining actions. But in each round, it's not really clear who's gonna go when. Whether it's you or the enemy. And there's a whole bunch of actions you have to do with the POW moves that I've never been able to pull off. Which is weird, because they should be simple. It's draw an arc. And it just does not work.
What? What system is this thing on?
The DS.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I was like, what?
The Commodore 64. But yeah, it's so weird. There's I've never played an RPG with as little useful feedback as this one. You just attack whenever it says you're attacking, and then you try to tap the little things on screen, you do it, and it gives you a little thumbs down anyway, and you do 1 damage.
It's fuck you, you suck.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not super into it.
I was just curious, based purely on the fact that it was a BioWare RPG, but it was Sonic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sounds like it's just more or less your run-of-the-mill, licensed game.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about this today, because I have played an RPG with sort of a similar system. It was still turn-based, but it had, you attack at a different rate than your enemies. And Lord of the Rings: The Third Age did it. But what I thought they did really well was, there's actually a little sort of thing on the side of the screen, it's got like character portraits, so it's got you and your whole party.
Oh, so you know who's attacking next?
Yeah, and it's
okay.
like got all the enemies, and so if you do something that's like, oh, this raises your character's speed or something like that, once you have it highlighted, it'll insert that character like higher up into the ranking or whatever.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
There's a Inuyasha RPG I actually to this day still really like. On the PlayStation 2 called Secret of the Cursed Mask that did something similar. It was like a ring, and you saw little character icons on them, and when they reached a certain point, it was that person's turn.
Yeah.
And each different individual had like different speed stats, so you'd see I don't know what the word would be, the example, the practical use of the speed stat shown, because you'd see like one guy goes around the whole circle in like half a second, while other people it takes like a full minute kind of a thing. So you could sort of plan out I want to defend with this character because even though he's almost at the lead, that enemy I know is faster, so it just let you predict things a little bit more, and it sounds like it's the same kind of system, and that was I enjoyed that in that game. That was pretty neat.
Yeah, like it's an interesting system that isn't executed very well, which is weird for BioWare.
Not anymore.
I mean, that's one game.
It is. Yeah, okay, one game. I don't want every single podcast to turn into me shitting on Andromeda, so I'm not going to talk about it anymore. But all I'm going to say...
It's going to happen.
All I'm going to say in advance to that is I have a feeling if Anthem turns out to be kind of a shitfest, I have a feeling BioWare is going to be the next big developer that EA has killed and they close down. Because there's like a long list of like... I can't even remember. There's like 10 developers that you haven't heard their name in like 15 years, so you've forgotten about them. But when you see their name, you're like, oh man, that's the guys that made the original Star Wars Battlefront, and this and that, and this and that. Oh, that's so cool. And you literally look at it, they were bought by EA, then all of a sudden their games were shit, and then EA closed them down. And that seems to be the eternal pattern. So I'm a little bit worried for BioWare, but anyway, moving on.
You can.
Holly, the game Rob recommended to you was Baroque, and I sat you down in front of the television myself, and you played it last night. So, what are your first impressions?
I don't know if I have my first impressions, but I don't know if I can have a full-on opinion about it yet, because I think I only played it for like 2 hours. But I mean, my opinion is that I think it has potential to be like an interesting game if I were to like 100% like sit down and play it. But as of right now, it doesn't give me that much to like hold on to, just to tell me like keep playing. There's something more here for you to learn and discover.
Right.
And I understand that that's a big part of the game, is that you're it's this huge mystery. You're supposed to find out something. Like I don't even know right now, but like you don't even know like you don't know what you're doing there. You don't know what's your purpose, so you don't really know what you're trying to work towards. Like, I mean, if they gave you a little bit more something about like your character or something like that, of like who they are, why they're there, or something like that. And I understand that's the stuff that you're supposed to learn.
Yeah.
But I feel that I need a little bit more to kind of like, catch the fish on the hook and then keep me going, right? Because as of now, like, I got to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to, like, speed run and see how far I can go, right? Instead of actually, like, exploring through, like, I mean, that's another thing, too, is that, like, you mentioned that the game is kind of, like, randomly, like, generated every time you play it.
Yeah.
And that's a cool feature, but everything kind of looks the same. There's not really, like, some, like, new cool environment that I get to explore and, like, experience. And every time you die, it's like, okay, I'm going to put you right back at the beginning, give you the same little toy that I gave you before, and away you go.
Yeah.
Away you go. I never used it. But, like, because, yeah, it's, like, the same hallways, like, the same enemies. And then, again, you don't know what you're doing there. Like, why am I there? So, I guess in that aspect, that kind of makes me want to keep playing it because I'm curious. But in my opinion, I think that the game itself should give me a little bit more something that I can look forward to, right? Because as of right now, I'm just kind of like, it's a fun game. Like, if you didn't tell me about it, and if you didn't tell me, like, how much you enjoy the game, and, like, I've heard good things about it from Tom as well, too, and if I didn't hear that there was anything more to this game, I probably wouldn't pick it up again. I probably would be like, yeah, that was cool. that was fun. I got to hit a couple enemies, but like, yeah, I just don't know what the goal that I'm working towards, and I think that's kind of like what I want to know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's again the same issue that I have with Bloodborne actually, is that this game, like Bloodborne for an example, has like a really cool world, a really cool environments, cool monsters, cool characters. Like they've created so much out of this game, but like you can only progress so far before they just kick you in the ass and say, okay, you gotta start over again, right?
Yeah.
Like for me, that game, I mean, completely different from Baroque. That game just punishes you so much that it's just, for me, it's not even enjoyable. Because, like, I understand that the game is supposed to be hard. That's cool. Like, I like hard games, but when it's to the point where every time I'm killed, I have to start all over again. It feels like I don't make any progress. And when I feel I don't make any progress, I feel that there's no ending. I feel that there's no finish line. And then so it's just me going through the motions of fighting or slashing or doing whatever that you're doing in the game, but then if you run out of HP, you got to do it all over again, right? So and that's kind of how I felt when I was playing Baroque, is that like I died, like it wasn't difficult, but it's just like I ran out of items to heal myself, and it's like, I'm poisoned, I'm slowly dying, okay, whatever. So I'm like literally waiting for myself to like just pass out and die, and then they pop me back in the same location, they give me the same weapon, and away I go, and I do it again, and it's like but there's no reward after that, right? Like they don't I don't know, but like again, I only played the game for a few hours, so maybe it's something that you just have to invest more time in, and I want to invest more time in because I am curious, because I've heard a lot of interesting things, and this game has so many, of what I know is this game has so many different endings, all depending on how you play it, how many times you actually die and stuff, but it's just like I feel as of right now I haven't gotten any return for my effort yet, so that's just what I have to say.
Saying this as like, this is one of my absolute top 2 favorite games of all time. It's kind of like an unhealthy relationship. Like you have to be okay with like, oh man, this game just kicked my ass, because it will do that on like hard difficulty. Yeah. But like you have to be okay with like, oh, but I got like a 30-second cutscene after like my 10th run. I gotta keep going.
Yeah. Is that how it does it? Is it shows you more of the world, like the more times you die?
It sort of the more times you die, and like the more, like there are specific locations in the randomly generated dungeons, and like the more of those you find, the more like
some of those you'll go into a location, you'll get like a 30-second like, oh, who the fuck are you? Like, what are you doing here? But it makes no sense because it's so short. You're like, what the fuck? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. You just don't have enough information to put that puzzle piece somewhere. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's very interesting though.
Do you know when she was playing it, I noticed when she went to NPCs, they sort of just repeated the same like phrase over and over and over again. But I seem to remember when I played it forever ago that they did change what they say. Is that tied to like how deep in the tower you've gotten and so on and so forth?
Sort of, yeah. Like there's, I don't want to say too much about this.
I've encountered people in the tower, not just outside it. So
I don't remember that.
No, I have seen. Well, I usually die by the time I get close to them, but I've seen them.
Without spoiling too much, there's one character especially that really changes their dialogue a lot as you have different experiences in the game.
Cool.
Yeah, no, I'm intrigued to play more of it, but yeah. Those are just my first opinions after just playing like the first 2 hours. I didn't play it for very long.
I think off the topic a little bit, I've been getting the itch to do some Let's Plays again. Nothing like super hardcore like we used to, where we just every weekend again and again and again. But I think Baroque, it'd be an interesting experience for you and Jordan to play together. I honestly think he'd appreciate that game, and I think your input as like a tag team thing, or maybe even the three of us. I don't know. I don't care. Just putting it out there. I think that would be a good game for you guys to play.
Yeah.
So, getting back into our actual topic here, 15 minutes into the video.
Whatever.
That's how a podcast
You didn't mention the game that you were assigned, which
he didn't play it. He didn't do his homework.
I have it. It's in the living room.
He didn't do
but I haven't played it yet.
I was so eager to hear what you thought
I
of
know.
it.
You were supposed us to play Cusco.
Like, you were so mad about having to play it.
Because it looks like such a shitty licensed game.
I looked it up on YouTube. It looks fine.
If you didn't watch our previous episode, the game I was assigned to play is Emperor's New Groove, the game on the PlayStation 1.
Yeah, it looks like
I played that game in my childhood, and it made me extremely happy.
Yeah, it looks like a mid to late 90s 3D platformer.
Yeah, it's fun. You'll at least enjoy some of it. You'll think it's like really super cheesy because it is, but I'm sure you'll have some entertainment out of it. But there was another game that I was actually going to recommend to you. I thought about it after we did the podcast, but it was another game that I still have that I played around the same time that I played that game, and it was like a Looney Tunes theme. Like it was like a Looney Tunes game, but it was about like the dog and the coyote with the sheep.
Oh,
it's called Sheep Braid. And basically, the whole point of the game is that you're the coyote and you have to steal the sheep from the dog. But then you have to do like the interesting like plans, like disguise yourself as a sheep or like make the dog fall asleep, and you'd have to steal the sheep. And I remember being terrified of this game because I was a little girl and I'm playing this game, and whenever I fucked up, this dog came beelining for you, and you're like, holy fucking shit, here he comes, and you got the fuck out of there. But it's a fun game. I should get you to play that one too. But you gotta play Cusco.
I promise I will. Maybe even tonight, just so Rob can see my live reaction.
There you go. All right.
But I promise I will by the time we do our next podcast.
All right. Well, maybe we should move on.
So our actual main topic here, what we want to see from Pokemon on the Switch. All three of us are, I guess you could say, almost lifelong fans of Pokemon. We're pretty much the generation that made it popular in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Right around there.
Yeah. I've played the game since pretty much the very beginning. Holly and Rob, last time you both said your first ones were Fire Red, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I played Gen 1, Gen 2, and Gen 3, and then I didn't play again until X and Y. I just sort of, I don't know, felt like I outgrew it or something. I don't know. But I really enjoyed... I really enjoyed X and Y. It, like, 100% reinvested me. Words.
It's fine.
Into Pokemon. And... I was super stoked for Sun and Moon, but ultimately I was very disappointed by those entries. Rob didn't play Sun and Moon. Holly did.
I did. I would have to agree with you. I've actually been replaying X and Y, because I really enjoyed them. I really enjoyed like the way that Pokemon evolved with that game. And then once Sun and Moon came out, I feel that they just didn't put enough like change into it, I guess. I don't know. I felt like I was expecting a lot more than what they gave. And then some of the good things that came out of X and Y were removed from Sun and Moon. So I was kind of like, So it kind of lost to me a little bit, but because like if I were to pick one or the other to return to play again, obviously it's X and Y because I've been doing just that. I actually tried replaying Sun and Moon because I had the itch to play X and Y again, but I couldn't find my cartridge of Y, and so I settled for playing Sun and Moon, and it just didn't scratch the itch, so I had to borrow from somebody else who had the game. Well, you had the game, because I think I lost it, unfortunately. So, what you get when you share with two other people.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how to spiral this conversation off. I guess something I'd like to see in some of the features that were introduced in X and Y, to my knowledge, were introduced. Like I said, Gen 4 and 5 I never played. But I really liked that they brought in, character customization. You can really, customize your own trainer, avatar, whatever you want to call it, to like feel like, oh, that's you. You're doing
personalize it a little bit more.
Yeah. Put yourself in the role a little bit more. And I appreciate when games do that. And it was something I didn't realize deep down that Pokemon almost didn't do that, because when the graphics were so much simpler, all you were just a dude walking around or a girl walking around, you identified with it just because it was this little 8-bit human being or whatever.
Yeah.
And you were a kid and you had a bigger imagination.
Yeah, you give it your name and everyone calls you your name or whatever you think is funny to put in
personal,
there.
Unless you name it Dumbass.
Or Joe Mama.
That's not how it's pronounced, though.
It's Dumbus.
It is Dumbus.
But I really like the character customization, and they kept that in Sun and Moon, so I have a feeling moving forward it's going to stay. But what I want to see... Ooh, my screensaver went on. Hopefully we didn't stop losing audio. No, we didn't. We're good. What I want to see moving forward is... I almost want your character's appearance, like in terms of your hair color, your eyes, how big or small your nose is, shit like that. I want that to be sort of more of the mainstream how gaming usually does it now. I want it to be... instead of you picking a trainer out of like 3 or 4 options that kind of looks like you, and then as you progress you can customize it however you want.
Yeah.
I'd rather if it just lunges into the whole Professor Oak asks you if you're a boy or a girl, and then when you pick your gender it goes right into a thing where you can like
pretty much just build
pick a
your
hairstyle,
human.
pick an eye color.
I can't see very well. What do you look like?
I'm old.
I was old 25 years ago.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like, I'm personally a big fan of games that do, like, extensive customization, because I feel that that's, like, a feature of, like, playing the game in itself, too. It's almost like having a little mini-game, in a way. Is, you know, you can make them look super ugly if you freaking wanted to.
When X and Y was
hilarious.
first shown off, I didn't think I'd care that much, but I found myself legitimately looking forward to going to a new town because I wanted to see what clothes I could buy.
Yeah, no, seriously. Every town I went to, I always, like, scoured the city looking for, like, where's the clothes shop?
In the garbage cans and under the benches. Where's the clothing?
Where's the clothing? Because I'm like, I want a new look. Like, I'm in a new space. I need new swag.
I've had this jacket for 5 minutes. I need new shoes.
Exactly. I have like 20 outfits in that game. Like, holy fucking shit. But
I've worn this outfit for the last 20 blocks.
But it's just having the freedom to be able to do that, right? Like,
Yeah.
You know, and it makes it a little bit more personal for you, especially now, like, they have, like, you know, online battles and stuff like that. And that way you're not looking like every single person in the world. You at least have some sort of little identity because you can do a little bit more of a customization to make the character look the way you want it to look. It doesn't even have to look like you. Like, I play male characters half the time when I play video games. Like, females are bitches. Like, just kidding. I don't know why. It's just a
You
habit.
heard it here first. Words.
No, it's just a habit. Like, when I started playing games, sometimes it's just usually who the main character is, and then when they started giving you a choice, it's just like, why change what I do now? So, but yeah, I like being able to like make my own character because you get to see. And how games do it nowadays, they almost do like little cutscenes with your character in it, and it really just makes it feel more like you're a part of that game now. You're more a part of that story instead of you're playing somebody else's character, and you know, because sometimes they're their own people, they have their own personalities and stuff like that. But if it's a character that you created, you've now become a piece of this story, and for me that's a little special to me.
Yeah, especially when. Like, the whole thing about Pokemon games is, like, this is you're going on your journey.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, if it can feel a little bit more closer to you, I think that adds a lot of value.
Yeah.
For sure.
Something related to that is, as a feature, honestly, I don't think they'd ever do. But to a certain extent, I think Game Freak, the Pokemon Company, and Nintendo have sort of acknowledged... There's been polls done, and it genuinely seems like... a majority of the Pokemon fan base actually is more adult rather than kid. A lot of it purely...
Doesn't surprise me.
Well, it's purely because of, like, our generation got into it, we were kids, and a vast majority of our generation never got out of it.
Yeah.
So, I don't mean to say that there's more adults in the world that are interested in Pokemon than there are kids. That's probably not the case.
Yeah.
But it is something along the lines of like a 70-30 split where like 70% is like between like 18 and 30 years of age, just because that's like, to them it was, they grew up with it and they like the games and they want to get the new one, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So the feature I'm talking about, just purely as a lifelong fan myself, I would like to see them include the ability to customize your character's age, so that rather than... you know, you're a 10-year-old boy, time to get your Pokemon and away you go.
Right.
When you're 25 years old, it feels a little weird to be like, hey, look, I just made this dude look
I never thought about it that way.
I know.
Honestly.
I just, like, it's not like a deal breaker by any means for me, but it was just something where when I think about, like, customizing your character in the beginning of the game, like fucking Bloodborne or Monster Hunter style, where you can have ridiculous different variations of what
Yeah.
you can do.
Yeah.
I would put in so much effort to make this character look like how I want it to be, and then all of a sudden I'm told how old I am.
Right.
Yeah.
I would like it to be, you could put in you're 25 or you're 18 or
Right.
you're whatever, and your character's like height would scale to that sort of thing.
Right.
So that you couldn't just, so that you're not, the immersion isn't broken because you're in your head, you're like, I don't care that the game tells me a 10. In my mind, my character is 25.
Yeah.
And then you're
But
running
then
along
you're, like,
the street
shorter
and
than
you're
everybody.
waist height with all of the adult,
Yeah.
sprites. So I would just like to see that come in where you could just have the choice of being an adult character.
I think you're just not used to being shorter than people. I think that's your problem.
That could be.
What if you're just a really tall person? What if you're just Edward Elric in this world and you're just super tiny?
That would be a short person. You said, what if you're just a super tall person and you're the
Oh, I'm
Edward
sorry.
Elric?
We're terrible at speaking.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that was about the last episode of Brotherhood, obviously.
No, I meant to say short. I meant to say short.
What other features? What was that? I think it was called Pokemon Ami.
What?
Wasn't it? In you could like interact with it.
Yeah, and you could like give them little
Oh yeah,
cakes.
you get to
Yeah.
pet them and give them cakes, and you could play like a face game with them as
Yeah,
well too, right?
yeah. So in Sun and Moon, I believe I didn't play around with it too much.
Did they have it?
I think it was still there. Maybe they changed what it was. I would if they took it out, because I played Sun and Moon like the 2 weeks when it first launched, and then never played it again because I stopped caring.
Ouch.
Well, I just didn't like the game.
Fair enough.
But I would like, if they did take it out, I don't recall, but if they did, I'd like to see it make a comeback, and I would like to see it go more of the route. I don't know how to describe it. Now what's popping in my head is more of the super training, where you could customize your Pokemon stats by doing like these various things, but all of them weren't they all like the same? Like you tap the screen in a spot. Like sometimes it was a punching bag, sometimes it was balloons or something.
I never really got all that into the super training. I don't remember.
Yeah, like I didn't really
I only
do
ever
it.
did it once.
But
Yeah.
if that makes a return, and the Pokemon Ami, I would like to see them go much farther with it and take advantage of like the quote unquote console level hardware they have now. When I was a kid, one of my favorite things to do, weirdly enough with my father who hates video games, we used to play Pokemon Stadium together a lot. And in Pokemon Stadium they had mini games. And that's what we did. So there was a mini game where you were a bunch of Rattatas, and I think you mashed the A button on rhythm, and the Rattata ran, and it was a foot race.
Yeah.
And then I think you hit the B button to jump over little obstacles. I would like to see them take the super training an extra step, and instead of just being tap the touchscreen to simulate something or whatever, I'd like for it to be like an interactive
It's a little bit more
minigame,
engaged,
like
yeah.
a race, and that's if you win the race, your speed stat goes up a little bit, kind of
Right,
a thing.
yeah.
Or
Okay.
fucking, obviously this wouldn't happen, but imagine if you had like a Machamp and you wanted to increase his strength, you could enter him like a boxing match. And it becomes like fucking Pokken Tournament. Like it wouldn't be that involved, but
Yeah.
like I would like to see them go the extra mile for those little features to make it really feel like you're actually training the thing rather than, you're just tapping the screen
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
and over and over.
Yeah.
The Pokemon to me, I guess it was overall just fine, but
I liked it. I
Maybe-
had lots of fun with it. Like right now, I've been playing it, and sometimes I'll spend like a good hour just playing with it. Like,
Yeah, I don't do that.
Seriously, like,
Yeah, I get that.
get my cute little Pokemon, and I'm petting them, and they're making little happy faces. And then once, like, I've been playing with the whole like, it's like a face game, but basically it'll tell you to make a certain face, like to your Pokemon, and if you make the right face, like they get all happy and shit. And I've been trying to play with that because there's certain like facial expressions I guess it just doesn't recognize when I do them. So then like I play with my Vaporeon a lot because I love my Vaporeon, but and then so I'm playing this face game with her, and then she gets all sad because it like timed out and I didn't recognize my face, and I'm like, no, don't be sad. So then I play with her even more to make her happy again because it looks so sad.
Yeah.
But no, I really like that feature because it like you got to engage with your Pokemon, and I thought that was kind of fun. And you got to pet them and because like I only catch the cute Pokemon, so of course I want to pet it. It's adorable. Like, come on. Like
You should see how much effort she put into, and she got the reward she wanted.
Oh my god.
She has a shiny Vulpix now.
Oh my god.
Well, I have a shiny Ninetales now because I did evolve it, but I went through so much effort. I researched online like the best way how to do it, and I think the one method that people were recommending was called like the Masuda method or something like that. I don't know why they
breeding over and over.
Yeah,
and over.
so basically it's like they said, if you collect like a Pokemon of that species from a different region, it increases your chances of breeding a shiny.
Okay.
So I managed to trade a Vulpix with some dude in Japan. And so now I have this Japanese Vulpix with a Japanese name, which is kind of cool. And then so I was like constantly breeding them. So I had like 3 full boxes of Vulpixes. And I was like, I'm just going to be the crazy Vulpix lady that hoards all the Vulpixes. And one of these days I'm going to do an online battle where all of my party is just filled with Vulpixes.
You're going to battle someone who has nothing but Squirtles.
Yeah, right. But because Vulpix is my favorite Pokemon. It has been since like I used to watch the show when I was a kid. I mean, granted, I had a cat named Pikachu, but that was my sister's idea. But yeah, no, Vulpix was always my favorite because I don't know, I always had a thing for foxes when I was little, and Vulpix is pretty much like a little fox, so she was always my favorite. And in every Pokemon game I play, my goal is like, gotta have a Vulpix. And it seems to be the curse of me that every Pokemon game that I've ever played, either it's the certain version that I'm playing as I can't have it, and it's like, no, why me? So then I'm always going to my friends who play, like my other friends who play Pokemon, it's like, can you give me a Vulpix? Like, please, give me one. But yeah, I eventually got my shiny Vulpix, and then I evolved into a shiny Ninetales. So I'm extremely happy because I've never had a shiny before in any Pokemon game. Not that they do anything, they just look cool. I mean, some of them, like, if you, like, look up, like, certain, like, Pokemon shinies, like, some of them don't look that much different. Like, they might just be a shade colored different.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, the shiny Vulpix looks like it's sick.
I never heard that description.
It does.
Yeah.
Well, no, because the colors are very similar, but they're very, like, dull looking, so it looks like it's, like, ill. It does. It just looks like it's not feeling very good.
Mr. Breeder, look, I hatched a shiny Vulpix.
It's like
it's from the Vulpix royal family.
No, well, I mean, in X and Y, that's what it looked like anyway. But when you evolve it, it looks pretty cool. So it's like blue and gray, which is pretty neat. So I was pretty happy to have that. So, what were we talking about before I went on my Vulpix room?
I was talking about
Pokemon
and me.
Yeah. But going back to what you said about the Pokken Tournament, do you ever think that they'll ever make a Pokemon game where that is what it looks like when you're actually in battle with another trainer?
You never know.
Would you think that would be good or bad? How would you feel about that?
Good.
Would it be too much of a change that it would, like...
It depends. I think if they kept the core battle system pretty much the same as they've established, but all it was that your typical over-the-shoulder perspective was that, like, the Pokemon looked not realistic, but you know what I mean? Like, really high def.
Yeah.
And, like 3D models, I don't think there'd be any complaints about it.
Like, in my opinion, I think that would be pretty cool.
Because that's almost where we already are.
It kind of is, but you're still, like, just selecting, like, use this move, and then it, like yes, it does have a better animation.
If you went into a battle...
Yeah, and then you're just duking it out with this other Pokemon.
Oh, that's not what I thought you meant. I thought you just meant, the graphics.
No, like the gameplay of it. Like,
when
you encountered a trainer, you actually had to fight that Pokemon.
I don't think the mainline games would ever do that.
No.
I feel like that's something that a spin-off developer would pitch to Nintendo, and Nintendo would be like, sure.
Yeah, like, at most I'd want, like, this sounds crazy, I'd love for them to kind of do it like Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, have a certain subset of moves where it's like, oh, you tried attacking, you triggered my whatever move. And, like, you just have one specific move in your set that you can trigger during an opponent's attack.
Oh.
Basically like a trap card for Pokemon.
Oh, okay. So you mean something like an attack like Confuse Ray, but it's more of like an effect your Pokemon has that if it's physically punched, kind of... Oh, well, that's kind of a status thing they already have, but...
Yeah, but I mean, like...
there would be a battle system that would trigger it.
Yeah, like, it'd be something that you yourself could... You know, it'd be like on the show when, you know, Ash would have Pikachu tackle, and then, oh, not so fast.
You've activated my gun.
Like, wait, that's not how it works in the game. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like counters.
Yeah, you
basically.
counter the attack.
So kind of like how moves like Harden are like super useful in the show, but not in the game.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
I'll never forget episode, I think it's 6, the 2 Metapods having a Harden battle.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's just silence and 2 Metapods staring at each other, and Ash and the other trainers keep going, Harden! 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 And they're just sitting there staring at each other until one of them falls over, I think.
Just gets tired.
Do you remember the one episode of Fillmore when they referenced Harden?
What?
No.
I remember Fillmore, but I don't remember that.
Yeah, there was like an episode where they have the cheerleaders and they're doing their pyramid. And the coach is like, now, harden like a No, it's like, now, stand firm like a Geodude using its harden attack. Watching that, it's just like, what the fuck?
But that's an example of how big Pokemon was in the 90s.
Yeah.
And, well, I guess early 2000s.
Yeah.
But,
it's funny. I haven't heard about Fillmore in a long time.
That was a good show.
It was a great show.
Anyway, back on Pokemon.
Yeah,
to answer your question, if I think that would ever be a good idea to do that, I don't think so in a mainline Pokemon game. I really like Pokken Tournament, but I like it because it's like a fighting game that, at first glance, I thought was going to be really shallow. Like, it was just... they're trying to capitalize on Tekken, because it was the same developers, I believe. That's why it's called Pokken.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
And they're trying to capitalize on Tekken being reputable and Pokemon being recognizable. And it's just going to be a punch and kick, and that guy died. And then when I played it, it was like surprisingly in-depth and different from every other fighting game I've ever played.
Yeah.
So I really liked Pokken, and I would love to see it get sequels and more support, DLCs and shit.
Yeah.
But in terms of like that kind of combat in a mainline Pokemon game, I don't think we'll ever see that. Could be wrong, you never know, but I feel like that would do... I feel like that changes too much with sort of how Pokemon is so popular with like esports and stuff. I feel like that would just cause a huge backlash for the metagame would change, because all of the esports people who spend years breeding specific Pokemon with other specific Pokemon to get a specific Pokemon with specific stats, so that when it's this specific level it learns this attack that can do this much damage, suddenly that's thrown out the window and you can't win because the other guy has better twitch reflexes than you do.
Right.
So I think that's something that would throw that out the window, and I feel like Game Freak and Nintendo would be like, no, that's like 80% of our demographic, let's not do that.
I suppose. I guess I didn't think about it that way, but...
But I can totally see, like, someone out of nowhere, like Square Enix. Like, if they literally went to Nintendo and was like, can we make a Pokemon game? And if Nintendo looked at Game Freak and went, sure, why not? I feel like that would be something they'd make, because it would be more of, like, a Final Fantasy-style influence.
Right.
And it would be something like, I don't know, Noctis throws out a Pokeball, and suddenly...
Oh, God, that'd be awesome.
Suddenly you're a Machoke. Wham, bam! You're fighting dire wolves.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Machoke's driving your little sports car.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, you could ride a Ninetales.
Oh, my God. Yeah. I don't know what I would... I guess my expectations for what I would want to see are way different than what, like, I don't know, like other Pokemon fans would want to see. Because why I brought that up about it, the battle system being like Pokken Tournament, because I think that would be pretty cool. Because I think that would be a more, in my opinion, an interactive way to play a Pokemon game, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
It would make you have a more connection to your Pokemon specific.
Yeah, and it makes you feel like you're, I guess, I don't know, like playing the game a little bit more instead of just selecting moves for my Pokemon to perform, I guess, right? Like, I understand there's a lot of, like, thought and planning into, like, how you do a Pokemon battle. Like, don't get me wrong, and I still like playing the game that way. But if I were to see the game Pokemon to evolve, I mean, I personally think that would be kind of a neat idea.
Yeah, I would probably give it a fair shake if it did that, but it's just something where I don't think it would ever be as successful as it is now.
No, I agree with that. Like, it would definitely be like a big stretch from what, like, Pokemon's
I think
doing
best
now.
case scenario.
Like, I think it'd be too much of a change that would be hard for a lot of other people to swallow, I think. But, I mean...
I could see it becoming a spin-off that gained a fan base that eventually had its own series. Like, there was, like, Pokemon, I don't know, fucking Alpha and Omega, and then Pokemon Beta and Zulu. And the Beta and Zulu are,
those
like...
are the same thing.
Are they?
No. No, they're not. They're not even from the same like series.
Oh, whatever. But you know what I mean. Like I could see
Zulu.
it spawning its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zulu is a military term.
No,
Yeah, it is.
no, it's an African tribe.
Yeah, but Zulu is one of them. Like
Yeah,
like
but-
you have like Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, whatever. Zulu. Is
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
that. Yeah. Yeah, I just made myself a little less dumb.
That's it.
Oh, no.
Rob's gone. So anyway, Rob, what would you like to change?
Rob just left. Oh, hi, Rob.
All right, I'm back.
I'm curious. What would you like to see from Pokemon in the Switch when it makes the mainline series makes a jump to home console, basically?
I don't know, there were a couple like big things I thought of. One would be like, I mean, I know this has been said to death. People want like, oh, make it look like Breath of the Wild, have it be like a big open area, and I do want that because that sounds cool.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
But what I'd also do is, a lot of RPGs now, instead of just having random encounters out, just in the open, you'll actually see, oh, there's, that certain kind of enemy. Like, I would love for you to look at a patch of tall grass and be able to see, like, oh, there's a bunch of, like, Butterfrees floating around in there. I want one of those. Let's go.
Yeah, actually being able to physically see what's in the grass instead of just like, I'm just going to wander through this grass and see what happens to gnaw on my ankle.
Yeah.
See, that actually gives me something I wanted to mention, but I wasn't sure how to bring it up. In terms of graphics, moving from 3DS to Switch, I've Sun and Moon, even though I didn't like them, I had no problem with the actual like graphics and art style. So if they kept that the same, but it was just 1080p, so it didn't look blurry and fucked up when you put it in the dock.
Yeah.
If they kept that same graphics to keep like the
Focus
load on
the
the
Pokemon
hardware
style.
really low, I would like to see them take advantage of that vast more wiggle room for what they could do to do something like that where when you're surfing on your Pokemon in the ocean, you can literally see like Magikarp and shit swimming in the ocean below you. And
Yeah.
I think that would be pretty cool if they went that route.
I agree with that, yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like it would make it seem more like a real world and not just, okay, well, I guess I'll just wander around.
Because, like, as at this point, only, like, from what we can, like, physically actually see, Pokemon only exists in the hands of a trainer.
Yeah.
They don't, like, you don't see them in the wild, right? Because you have to have an encounter to be able to be like, oh shit, there's a Pokemon there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it'd be really cool to be able to actually physically see certain Pokemon in their, like, environment.
Yeah.
And I think that would be really neat.
Yeah, they could just sort of take the guesswork out of grinding.
Yeah.
Like you could see like, oh, there's like a cave way over there, and I want a Zubat. I'll go there.
Mm.
And maybe you could see them like hanging in the mouth of the cave or something.
I don't know if you have another point. I've actually been thinking about this video a lot lately. You just remind me of another thing. You mentioned like, oh, there's a cave, there's Zubat in there.
Yeah.
I want to see them. How many Pokemon are there now? I think there's over 800.
There's so many.
Something like that.
I remember when there was like 150.
What I want to see from them is I want to see them take a break from making new ones.
Yeah.
I want them to do something like maybe you make 10, that's it, and like a majority of those are the new starters or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I want to see them take advantage of. I want a Pokemon game where they're always going to do the version split where like in one version this patch of grass has Jigglypuffs, in the other version the same patch of grass has Clefairies. Like they're always going to do that.
Yeah.
I don't mind that, but I want there to be a specific generation, so Pokemon on the Switch, whatever it is, I want it to be something where between the two versions you can literally obtain every single Pokemon. So it's not something where a problem I had with Gen 3 back in the day is it couldn't trade or battle with Gen 2 or Gen 1.
Yeah.
Even though all of Gen 1 and Gen 2's Pokemon were programmed into the game. So, by using cheating devices and stuff, you could get a Cyndaquil or whatever.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, that's never any fun. What I would like to see is you go into a cave, and instead of it being Zubat, Geodude, Zubat, Geodude, Zubat, Geodude, make it so that, maybe not in that specific cave, but make it so that when you go into a cave, you have like a 10% chance of every cave Pokemon they've ever made popping up. So when you go in there and you see a Zubat, it's no longer like, oh, I'm going to run and I'm going to see 1,000 more. You have just as much chance of seeing a Wishmer as a Zubat. Or you go into a patch of grass and you could come across a Bulbasaur, or I don't know how to really put it into words, but I mean, program it in a way where when you go into a random battle in a specific environment, it picks at random like a Pokemon that fits the type and location.
Yeah.
So that you don't end up with that situation of, man, like with Holly, man, I really want a Vulpix. Well, maybe in this new game, in both versions, although they always program every Pokemon. So in the game's coding, a Vulpix exists, but a Vulpix doesn't appear in the wild naturally.
Yeah.
Instead of that, make it so that, yeah, maybe there's only a 1% chance of a Vulpix appearing in this volcano.
But I still have a chance.
But you still have a chance of
Yeah.
finding it.
Yeah.
And they could do interesting things with that by making it so that you could go to a store and buy bait that attracts a specific Pokemon.
Yeah.
And you have to like piece 2 and 2 together and find the best location to use this
Yeah.
bait. So it feels like you're literally like, I want this Pokemon, I'm gonna go find it.
And catch it.
Rather than you like, I'm gonna run in
It feels like you're
circles.
actually catching it instead of just random encounter with a Pokemon being like, hey, that's cool. You catch the Pokemon. At least that way you're almost putting a little bit more effort into actually catching a Pokemon. Like you said, having the bait and going to the location, maybe even specific bait for certain types of Pokemon, right? So I think that would be a really neat idea. Because that would make, just catching Pokemon a little bit more engaging, I guess, that way. In my opinion.
Yeah.
I think that would be a lot of fun, actually. Especially if I can get a fucking Vulpix. Like, even in X and Y, like, if the Vulpix doesn't exist, like, it has to be...
I think it has to be
sent over
I
from
think it has
other
to be from
games.
the Friend Safari.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that's why, like, you could get one. Like, I actually was really lucky and got one my first playthrough, the same way Holly did, where I was just playing around in the Wonder Trade and got a Vulpix.
Yeah.
So I just kept it, and it became a part of my main team. But yeah, I don't think you could just run around in the wild and get one.
Well, if anyone's Wonder Trading with me anytime soon, you're getting fucking Vulpix.
Yeah, she's
$3
got a lot of them.
I have a lot. Only one shiny, though. It's mine.
Anything else you'd like to mention, Rob?
The other thing was, going back to what you said about the esports, I'd love to see them, like, really focus on making multiplayer a big part of, like, sort of post-game content. Because, like, again, going back to the show, they always made a big deal about, like, once you get all the gym badges, then you qualify for the Pokemon League. And it really builds that up. And, like, I don't feel like we've ever really seen that in the games.
No, yeah, the Pokemon League in the show is like a tournament with, like, international trainers who've all gotten 8 badges. And in the games, it's you battle the Elite Four.
Yeah.
Which there's nothing wrong with that, but I think that would actually be really cool if maybe playing solo, there was something like a tournament with, obviously it's pre-programmed, but NPCs who were, like, all trainers. But
it wouldn't need to be pre-programmed, though. Because, I mean, like, you could do just traditional online multiplayer, but you could, a lot of sports games now, especially with the Ultimate Team modes in EA Sports versions, like, even if someone's offline, you can basically play their team offline, the computer will just simulate it.
Oh, okay.
Like,
so it'd be like I connect to the internet once, and there's potential that, like, a server-based clone of me could be who you fight.
yeah.
Oh,
So, like, you could have you've beaten all the gyms, you've beaten the Elite Four, and now whenever you want, you can just go to, the arena in the capital or whatever, and, okay, so, here you're going up against, it's
Ray Romano.
Ray Romano and Pikachu XX69. Well, like what I'm thinking is you could basically sort of split the multiplayer up like the last Smash Bros. Have like the really competitive one that's, an official Nintendo thing. You have to have 8 badges to get in there. But what you could also do, I'm thinking anyway, is, like we could set up our own league and just have like sort of a casual thing. And, after 3 months or whatever, you won, however many matches. Congratulations, you're the champion.
Okay. Like, so you mean setting up your own league, though? What do you mean? Like how...
Like, basically...
Like tournament mode in Smash Brothers, or...
Sort of. Like, I don't know how much of a reference point this is going to be for you, but sort of like fantasy sports.
No, it's not.
Okay. I didn't think so. But basically, like, just... Like, sort of... Like, set up a league, like, invite people, and then...
So, like, we could do something, like, where we build our own Elite Four based on, like, say, you, me, Holly, and Jordan, and then we post it online, and either clones of us when we're offline or us ourselves would take on the challengers.
You could do it like that. I was thinking, like, almost more like sort of a D&D group. Like, you just get a group together, like, yeah, these are all the people I want to play Pokemon with. And then, it's Thursday, Pokemon night.
Okay.
And, basically just have your own sort of championship and, keep track of your own results, that kind of thing.
Okay, I kind of get it.
Mm-hmm.
See, I had a similar idea for... I'd like to see post-game, quote-unquote, story content. Yeah. Where it's... like, after you've become champ or whatever, you decide to open up your own gym.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It turns into, like, basically kind of like The Sims, where you build you build your gym and you build, like, a town around the gym kind of a thing. So it's like a new location. And then people online could, like, look at, like, a server listing of towns and gyms and whatever, and they could pick yours, and then it just... So maybe it appears in a specific location in the world map, or maybe it just loads them into your town. Yeah. But they could, like, go to your gym, and there's puzzles and things that you've put into place, and then you are the gym leader. But
that'd be cool.
If they beat you, they get, like, a badge that is usable in the main game. Like, that they could theoretically, like, beat you, and you could be their 8th badge, and they could go to the league now, kind of a thing. I thought of something kind of like that, but I wasn't sure how to really put it into words until you were talking about your tournament thing.
Yeah.
But post-game content's a big one. They've really... A lot of people say this, but I think they peaked at Gen 2 for after you beat the Johto League, you could go back to Kanto and, like, battle Brock, Misty, and all these, but they... You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Wow, I didn't know you didn't know that. Okay, so
I'm learning.
Let me start over. In Gen 2, after you beat the Pokemon League, you go back to Kanto. I can't remember why. I think Professor Oak asked to speak to you, but he's at his own lab in his town. Yeah. So you go to Kanto, and you actually go to Pallet Town, and all of the graphics and everything are all Gen 2 styled, but all of the stuff's in the same place they were in Gen 1. Right. When you go into Oak's lab, I think, I'm really fuzzy on these details now, but I think he asks you to find Red, the protagonist from the first game. And then you basically follow in Red's footprints and go up, battle Brock, and battle Misty, and battle Lieutenant Surge, and you get all the 8 gym badges a second time, but they're all the Kanto gym leaders, but everything's all scaled up. So, because by this point, you've beaten the Pokemon League, say you got a party of 6, and you're... all of your Pokemon are like level 50 or 60. Yeah. In Fire Red, Leaf Green, or in Red, Blue, whatever, Brock had, I think, a level like 11 Geodude and then a level 14 Onix. In this, he's got like a level 58 Golem and a level 64 Steelix. Like, it's all scaled up.
Okay.
So that's still challenging. And they've got other Pokemon in there too. Like, I think Misty has like a Gyarados and all this other stuff. But it's all scaled up. And it builds you up to the point where just by playing the post game, your party ends up being like level 80 at minimum by the end of the game. And then you go to Mount Silver and it's a whole new dungeon. At the end of Mount Silver, Red is waiting at the top and you battle Red. And he's got like a level... I think 88 Pikachu, and he's got a Venusaur, a Charizard, and a Blastoise. Like, he's supposed to represent Gen 1 in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was something I really thought was like fucking wicked when I was a kid, that you could go back to Kanto. And I feel like ever since then they've never done anything like that again.
Yeah.
And I would like to see, even if it's a little bit of a cop-out, like maybe the main region of the game is really short, but if after beating it you could go to Johto, but it's all like the new graphics and art styles, like that would be like a nostalgic dream to like run through New Bark Town, but it's actually like a town and not 4 buildings and a professor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be kind of neat.
Anything else you'd like to say specific?
I don't know. Not specific, no.
There were a few more things I thought of. I want to mention it earlier when we were talking about clothes, but we moved on from the topic before I could say anything. But I want to see a lot of variety in clothes, because in Sun and Moon, I feel like it, or X and Y, I feel like it was a limitation of, it was a new idea and they didn't really know where they were going with it yet.
Yeah.
But in Sun and Moon, they scaled it back and it made it feel pointless.
Yeah.
Because they made it, the whole, like, the region is based on Hawaii. So all of the outfits are like Hawaiian shirts and board shorts and stuff like that.
Right.
It's fine to have a theme, but when I played, I've been playing Pokemon Y recently because Holly got me back into it playing X. And it's something, we're just looking at my trainer before I started a new game, looking at his outfit. I was like, he's so fucking rad. And then when I think back on my trainer in Sun and Moon, he's just like a fucking dude with shorts and a t-shirt. I want to have that anime protagonist trench coat, and I want to have like wicked cool boots, and I don't want everything to be sandals and flip-flops. And
you don't want to look normal. You want to stand out. Like,
Yeah.
You're supposed to be the main character of the story. You want to stand out. Right?
Yeah, and I just want to see if they go the outfit route again. I don't want it to be like, you go to Town 1 and you got this cool green jacket. And you're like, oh, cool, you buy it. You go to Town 2, and it's the same jacket but blue.
Yeah.
And then you go to Town 3, and it's the same jacket but red.
Yeah.
You know, like, I want to see, like, maybe they, each shirt or whatever is totally different from each other, but you can pick colors when you buy it or something like that.
Yeah.
But I want to see, like, Town 1, you can get a t-shirt. Town 2, you can get, like, a trench coat. Town 3, you can get a fucking sweater vest. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see them all completely change
Yeah.
as you progress.
Yeah.
And they could be themed to the region, like, or the town. Like, if you're in a beachside town, it could be sandals and flip-flops. If you're in a snowy northern town, it could be snowsuits and shit. But,
X and Y kind of did that.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
little bit.
But I felt, what I meant was in Sun and Moon, they really sort of abandoned that.
Yeah.
It felt like the character customization was a completely secondary thought they didn't care about.
I agree with that.
Especially
yeah.
since they took away my hair color. Like, in X and Y, you could have, like coppery orange-ish hair, which
Yeah.
is what my natural hair color is, and I always try to shoot for that in games because it helps me identify with the character. In Sun and Moon, you were either, if you wanted red, you either had to settle for blonde or like
Brown.
well, there was brown, like a dark brown, but
Yeah.
they did have red hair, but it was like straight up like red paint. Like it wasn't like a natural human.
Yeah.
And it was just something I was like, I just want my hair, man.
Aw.
Like, I had to settle for the blonde because it was the only one that I was like, okay,
That
well,
felt normal.
it's lightish like my hair color is.
Yeah.
But like as soon as I turned on X and Y and saw my character's hair, I was like, that looks so much better. Why did they take away a hair color of all things?
Yeah.
Like, is it a hardware
Yeah.
limitation? Make Pidgeot's feathers flow a little less. Like, give me back my hair color. Like, it's stuff like that I'm hoping in Pokemon Switch that they really
Yeah.
they just dive head first into like let's do this, let's do that,
Try all
and
the
like
stuff.
do
Yeah.
it right
Yeah.
rather than dip their foot in the water.
Yeah.
They've already done it. Just go batshit crazy with it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to be a 10-year-old boy with a frohawk and a fucking swastika tattoo. Give me as many options as I could possibly have.
Oh my God.
What's a frohawk?
It's like a mohawk, but I think it like dips down in the front or something.
What? Oh my
Is that like an actual hairstyle?
Yeah, I've heard
I
of it.
think.
I just don't know what it looks
Okay,
like.
I thought
Oh,
you
no,
were
I was
just making
Googling.
it up, and I thought it sounded fascinating.
No, frohawks exist.
Oh no, it's
It's an afro mohawk.
yeah, it's like a mohawk, but
Yeah, like
fluffy.
that. That's what I was picturing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like an afro but fluffy.
Oh my.
Yeah, I want to be a
What?
10-year-old white boy with a frohawk. Give me that option, Game Freak.
Red hair.
Red hair. I feel like there was more I wanted to talk about because I've been thinking about this particular, not just for podcast sense, but just as a fan. Like,
Yeah.
what do I want to see?
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this for such a long time, and I know that when I'm editing this, I'm gonna think of like a million more things, and I'm gonna be angry that I didn't say it.
Yeah.
Difficulty. That was one.
Oh.
They've made Pokemon so easy.
Yeah.
Replaying Gen 1 and Gen 2 a while back, like it was a couple years ago now, but replaying them really put it into perspective of how easy they've made it. In X and Y, I don't know if they introduced this in Gen 4 or 5, but in X and Y, they instead of the EXP share being an item, an item you equip to a Pokemon, they made it, an inventory option.
Yeah.
Where by default it's turned on and all of your Pokemon in your party gain experience.
Mm-hmm.
I hated that. I'm probably in the minority, but I hated it.
I'm indifferent to it.
It made it feel like I was putting in no effort and my Pokemon were getting stronger. I liked
Yeah.
that feeling of, even though it's grinding, I loved that feeling of, I devoted 10 hours of my life to making this fucking Charizard as high level as I could, and, you know, it felt like I got somewhere with that Charizard.
Yeah.
But when the Charizard evolved and got stronger because I was training Pikachu, it didn't feel right. Like
Right.
it felt like...
But I mean, it is an option. Like, you do have the option to turn it off.
You can turn it
Yeah.
off.
So, which is fine. Like, I appreciate that because sometimes sometimes I play games not because I want to be punished by it, but because I want to play
Broke.
through... No, more like Bloodborne. But just because I want to experience story. You know, I want to experience this new world that I'm being introduced to through this game and story and plot and stuff like that. And maybe I don't want to spend too much of my time training my Pokemon. Then I have the option to do that. But if I want, for example, to be more engaged on how my Pokemon are like developing and getting stronger, then I have the option to not do that. So, like, I appreciate having it there, but like what they did with it was smart. Like, they had it so that you could get rid of it.
Yeah, I agree that as long as they continue to give you the option to turn it off, its existence doesn't really bother me. I was using it as an example of how different Pokemon, how much easier they've decided to make Pokemon.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
do agree that they should make it have certain difficulty levels so that beyond that you could make it more challenging for yourself, for somebody who's like a veteran player.
I would like to see them introduce like a literal, you go into options and
it's
there's
like
a difficulty
easy, normal,
slider.
difficult, like super
'Cause,
hard.
like, I would
kinda
love
thing.
to see it where you have it set on normal and you're a brand new trainer. You go into that first forest that every region always seems to have, and nothing but bug trainers. And you battle one, he's got 6 Caterpies and they're all level 2. I would love to see it when you set it to hard. He's got like 6 Beedrills and they're all like level 15, even though you just started or something. Like, I would love to see it like there's normal and there's easy, but when you set it to hard, it's like, if you don't super train your Pokemon, you're gonna die. Kind of like,
yeah.
I would love to see that challenge, because there's the part of
Yeah.
me that would like start a new game just to be like,
just to challenge
do
yourself.
it!
Yeah,
You
just
know?
to challenge yourself.
just to see if
for
I
sure.
could beat it.
Yeah.
Because imagine what the Elite Four would be like on that kind of a scale. Like, there's the part of me that's just, especially late game, it bothers me when you've got this team of 6 Pokemon and they're all like level 50 and you've been this whole journey with them and you're in Victory Road, which is full of other trainers who've got 8 badges, but they still only have 2 Pokemon, and those 2 Pokemon are always the same type and they're weak to you. I want to see I want to see them have 6 Pokemon, and I want them to be not just the flying guy. I want it to be, oh, he's got a Pidgeot, oh, I'll send out my Raichu. Oh, cool, I beat his Pidgeot. Oh, here comes the fucking Groudon. Okay, I'm going to change my Pokemon and be the type elemental that beats Groudon. Okay, what's he going to throw out next? Another ground or flying type? Oh shit, he just threw out a psychic type. Like, I want to see them have like balanced parties and like try to kick your butt rather than just being the,
It's like
you did good, little kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe
I could agree with that.
Maybe the difficulty could be tied to that age slider I was talking about. Who knows?
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
But anyway, that was an idea I had.
Yeah, I agree that I think they should, regardless, like put some sort of difficulty. I mean, because that's kind of what we expect from games nowadays. I think is that usually, when you first start the game, you can select easy, normal, or hard mode or whatever. I don't know why they actually don't do that for
even your
Pokemon
rival.
game.
Now that I think about it, like in Gen 1, it was literally like, oh, you just barely survived that huge cave full of trainers with rock Pokemon when you've got nothing but fires and electrics. Let's battle! And if you lose to me, you're going all the way back to the other side of that cave. But nowadays, it's like, hey, main character, do you want to battle? I'll even heal your Pokemon.
Yeah.
And it's like, I kind of want to go back to like when it was the days of when fucking.
However, I mean, it kind of sucks when your rival shows up and all your Pokemon are like passed out, fucking tired.
But
you're like, come on!
It made it feel like it was a rival, though.
No, I understand.
Like when that motherfucker showed up, you wanted to kill him.
Right? But that's an unfair advantage. If you're completely weak and they're like full health, I'm pretty sure that you'd be a little bit salty if that ever happened to you. You'd be like, motherfucker, like, come on, like, let me pump these guys full of some potions or something before you come at me.
Let me inject some science into these digital monsters, these pocket monsters. One more topic. I thought of it when you were talking earlier. Story. Would you be welcome or not care if Pokemon took more? If its story delved more into the more RPG-esque, not mature, but it wasn't just like, here's a team and they're fucking shit up, go kill them.
Yeah.
If it was literally like political intrigue and, warring countries or shit like that. Like, I just mean, like, would that be a welcome change or you just not care in a Pokemon game?
Honestly, I would take it even further from there than it is now. I barely even have Team Rocket or Team Magma or whatever in there. Like, basically just make it a world for people to explore and maybe set up, like, have some rogue scoundrels that maybe you can put down in a side
right there is
quest.
The perfect trainer prefix for them too. A rogue scoundrel.
Yeah.
Rogue scoundrel Timmy wants to battle.
But I'd say, if we are gonna do like the open world thing, make it like super open. Like, and I know, like, No Man's Sky got a lot of shit for doing pretty much exactly that. But I don't know, like, I don't even know, like, if I think that it'd sell well. It's just what I, as an individual, would love to see.
See, I think I would almost like to see them take a more story-heavy route, as long as it was intriguing.
I think so. I
I
would appreciate that, I think, because it's something different. It's something new. It's fresh that we would see from Pokemon. I mean, obviously, it's not new and fresh for games in general, but for Pokemon, for sure. And it I don't know, it'd bring a different flavor to the, I don't know. I just think it would just, what I want to see is, I just want to see something different. I want to see something new that they haven't really done before. So
because they could do something like, maybe you're not a Pokemon trainer in the beginning. Maybe you're just a dude who lives his life. But it does like the Mario or Link thing where your significant other is kidnapped by the team leader. So you embark on your journey to recover them. And it's after you recover them and quote-unquote you've beaten the game, that's when you look at yourself and go, maybe I could be a trainer. I've got this team now. And that's when it becomes, go take on the gyms.
Right.
And then it becomes the more open thing that Rob's talking about.
Okay.
I kind of like that. That sounds like a neat idea.
I would like, the reason I mention anything like that at all is weeks ago, actually, I had a dream about playing
I know.
Pokemon on the
Switch. The dream.
And I thought it was super cool in this dream because it pulled on the nostalgic heartstrings. Like, I can't remember what the team name was, but there was an evil team doing evil things and you were the hero stopping them, right? But they did something that it was like they had an army or something, I can't quite remember, but you couldn't stop them on your own.
They
and
nuked Tibet.
what you did is, like, Professor Oak, I think it was, told you, like, there is a man who can help you, but he won't want to. You'll have to convince him. And when you meet this man, you have to do all these specific trials or something to get him to say, like, yeah, sure, I'll help you.
Right.
And it turned out that man was Giovanni, and he literally pulled, like, Team Rocket out of the shadows, but they were, quote-unquote, the good guys in this case, because they were helping you fight back that other evil team. And it made me think, like, I would like to see something like that, where you see, like, those older iconic villains or something, like Giovanni, just come back in a major way. Not necessarily be a villain again.
Yeah.
But, Gen 2 kind of did it, where Team Rocket tried to reform, but Giovanni never showed up to, like, take command again, so they fell apart again. So Giovanni never appeared again after Gen 1, but it still felt like his influence was there because it was still Team Rocket trying to do the stuff he was trying to do.
Yeah.
But he abandoned them, which I thought was, like, a character building moment for him.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see them take that even further if they do that nostalgic thing and bring him back. But that would be, I think, ideally for a story, my main thing would be, maybe you don't even start off as like a quote-unquote trainer. You're just a dude who has, like, a Pokemon farm, and your farm is full of Tauros, and then your fiance is kidnapped, so you take your favorite Tauros and you go to take them out. And by the end of that, you've got a team of 6, and they're all decently high leveled, and then it becomes, maybe I'll be a trainer. And then it becomes open world, and you just go wherever you want to go to take on the gyms in the league and whatever. That was just something, an idea I had.
That sounds like a cool idea. I'd play it.
I mean, let's be fair, at the end of the day, it's Pokemon. Even if it's absolute shit, everyone's going to play it.
Oh, yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, I'm not sure what else specific I'd like to see. I guess, to a certain extent, backwards compatibility. Like, I'd like to be able to, like, make it at least compatible with Pokemon Bank, so you can bring your Pokemon from X and Y forward or whatever.
Yeah. Make Sneasel the official mascot.
You know what I'd like to see? When you start your game, you pick a starter Pokemon from any of the starters.
Like, from any generation?
Yeah.
That'd be kind of neat.
So, like, it's no longer like, oh, Rob, which one did you pick? I'm going to pick a different one. Oh, Holly, that means you can pick the third other one. Yeah. It could literally just be like, okay, Rob
have a huge variety of
Rob picked Bulbasaur, you picked the penguin thing. I don't know what it's called. And then I
Danny
picked...
DeVito. From Batman
Then
Returns.
I picked some other gen starter that's... Yeah. Who knows, but...
Interesting.
I don't even know how many starters there are at this point. 12? Well, I don't know.
It'd be more than 12.
Is there?
Yeah, 12 would only take you to Gen 4.
Yeah, you're right. I was thinking like 12 of one type in my head.
I see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure what else specifically. Yeah.
I mean, if you're from Nintendo, give us like $50 and we'll give you some more ideas.
I like picturing it's just like one of those stupid like sitcom boardroom things where it's just they're sitting there like super intrigued at what we have to say, and we're just, what if there was a butt?
What?
Just something random and stupid just to make them go, oh. Get this guy out of here.
Yeah, that'd be random and stupid.
Get my $60 back. I thought it was 50. No, I'm taking $10. Are there any features specifically you guys would like to see with it that would use the Joy-Cons in any specific way? Like maybe like motion controls to be how you interact with Pokemon Ami or something like that?
Maybe.
I
don't know.
What if you could use motion controls to command the attack?
Oh, that'd be kind of
like an upward thrust is whatever you have in slot 1.
See, that was something. That was almost something that I was thinking about when I was playing it on my DS the other day. Is instead of like you click the icon that makes them do the attack, that like for example on like the DS that you had to do a certain pattern on like the D-pad to make them do that.
What if you forgot the pattern?
Well, then you're fucked.
What if they got the guys from Sonic Chronicles to do it?
To be able to trigger that Pokemon to do the move instead of just do the thing. Just flamethrower. Just go for it. That you actually had to remember and like invest into it, I guess, instead of just hit the button. But I think that would be kind of neat. Like if you had to do like a certain like sequence. Like with the motion controls, like you have to move your hand in a certain way to perform like a certain attack or something. I think that would be kind of neat.
Remember how I was saying before about it? I would like to see them do like a Pokemon Stadium.
Pokemon is stale.
They already did a Pokemon show. It's called Sun and Moon.
Pokemon Stadium style like mini games for like the super training.
Did you say Pokemon Stale again?
Maybe I did. Pokemon Stadium.
Pokemon stale.
Style mini games for like the super training. That would be a good way to do that, I think, where if you're trying to make your Scyther stronger by making it chop wood, you have to do the chopping motion with the Joy-Con. Or like if you're making your...
Yeah, but how would that work if you're playing it on the dog?
Well, they'd have to make it button interfaces, but they've already done that with most of their games.
That's true.
Like Mario Odyssey is one where
right
you spin the Joy-Con, I think, make them spin the hat around you, but you can also do that with the joystick and the Y button.
Right.
But yeah, I don't think there's anything else I need to say.
No.
No.
I guess to close it out, do you guys think we'll see it release this year, or do you think it'll just be a trailer at E3 and it's to be announced 2019?
Well, I think we'll definitely see some sort of something from it this year, but I don't think we're going to see a release date this year. I don't think so.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised because, like, I don't know, maybe I'm just forgetting something.
If they're really doing something big with it, then I don't think so, because then they're going to want to take the time to do what they're going to do.
But we also don't know how long Game Freak had been developing it back when it was codename NX.
Yeah.
Okay, all
right.
Like,
the main thing I'm thinking is, like, this time last year, we already knew Mario Odyssey was coming.
Yeah.
So, and as far as I know, like, maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't heard anything about, like, a big holiday release for Nintendo in 2018. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if it was the new Pokemon.
Yeah.
The only thing that I think is confirmed, not confirmed, speculated would be Smash Brothers. Because they confirmed 2018, but they didn't confirm a release date.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So
every Smash Brothers ever has always released in like October, November, so...
Even Smash Bros, I wouldn't be surprised if it came out in September with the online.
Yeah. That would actually make a lot of sense. See, I'm on the fence myself. I think Holly is right. At minimum, at E3, we're going to see finally a trailer.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'd be surprised either if there was a trailer and then they fucking pulled a Samus Returns and just went, oh, by the way, it's out in 3 months.
Yeah.
The biggest reason I think why is because when they announced its existence at E3 last year, they said it was... I think they said they had a planned release or something like that for 2018. On Nintendo's website right now, it says 2018 or later for Pokemon Switch. So I think that is them remaining open to, if Game Freak says
if they need more
we need more time, it will be 2019. But I think it is planned for this year. And specifically last year, I guess, but Nintendo's been doing so many directs and other types of events that it feels like a little mini E3 every couple of months.
Yeah.
But Nintendo's been really hitting it out of the park, and I think that they, especially at E3 last year, I'll never forget what it felt like when I was just fucking casually watching it, and all of a sudden the screen goes to black, and you hear like this ambient noise, and you see stars. And for years, I was hoping for new Metroid. I finally gave up. And I'm sitting there like, it's not what I think it is. It's not going to be what it is. And then there's the big 4. And I'm like, no, it's something else. And then in big bold letters, Metroid Prime 4 currently in development. And I was like, ah!
See, that's almost exactly the reaction I had, because the year before I had the exact opposite reaction when they played the ambient noise and they showed the stars, and it's like, oh, it's Federation Force. Oh.
Yeah, I was super. And then they fucking announced Samus Returns.
Yeah, they just said, oh, by the way.
Yeah, that E3.
Just to give you a little something.
Yeah.
Wait.
Here's a 2D Metroid like you've been wanting for years. We're not going to show you a proper trailer. We're just going to be like, it exists. It comes out in 2 months.
Yeah, Reggie's here. We're playing it for like half an hour. Let's
go. But I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Like, maybe that's like a surprise on the showroom floor. Like, maybe they have their press event the day before E3's convention starts, and they show off Pokemon Switch. And then they say, by the way, tomorrow in our showroom, you can play it if you want.
Yeah.
Like, I could totally see them doing that.
Yeah.
There has been murmurs and quote-unquote leaks and rumors. Like, you can't trust it anymore on the internet.
Yeah.
But, like, there's been speculations that some of these leaks have been leading to localization began quite a while ago. Like, specific, like Game Freak hiring English-speaking individuals for translations and stuff, implying that they could be working on the English version of the game already, and if that's the case, that means the core game must be done.
Right.
There's all kinds of speculation as...
Yeah.
I would like to see it come out 2018, because like you said, I feel like they haven't... Even by this time last year, Nintendo had released like 3 new IPs or something where they came out the gate swinging with the Switch.
Oh,
yeah.
And so far this year, there hasn't been that much. And I feel like if the Fire Emblem game that they confirmed in development when they announced the Switch, I feel like if Fire Emblem, Pokemon, and Smash Brothers all came out in the same 5-month period leading up to Christmas, then it would just be Nintendo wins the holidays again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like to see it released this year. But I would be equal parts surprised and not surprised if it didn't. It's this weird gray area because they're so secretive.
And they couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they'd released trailers and been like, and you could tell by the trailer, like, oh, it's an alpha, you'd know it's not coming out this year.
Yeah.
But they haven't shown anything. So it could be done right now, and they're just sitting there wringing their fingers like a bunch of super villains.
I think that's one of the things I like about Nintendo. It's like so many game companies. It's like, okay, we've got this incredible new game, and we're really excited about this, and they show like basically a cutscene, and it's like, all right, and it's coming real soon, and then like 5 years down the road, it's like, wasn't that?
Yeah,
when was that supposed to come out?
Yeah, a good example of that is the Red Dead Redemption 2.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have they said, no, we're gonna postpone it again? I think it's 4 times now. 4 times.
Breath of the Wild did that too, though. They announced it at E3 2014 and was like, it's coming out in 2015.
Yeah, but in all
now
fairness,
it's coming out 2016. Now it's a launch title on the Switch.
Well, yes, I think part of it too is that because there was a new console that they wanted to put it on.
Oh, definitely.
Right? So they were wanting to kind of wait for that. But I don't know if Red Dead Redemption's waiting for a different platform than what it was already meant to be.
Well, it comes out this September.
I think, supposedly. we'll hold our breaths on that one. But yeah, it's just because they've had so many release dates, but Rockstar themselves have said that we just want this game to be released when it is done. So they want to make sure they've dotted their I's and crossed their T's before this game is out, which I really appreciate because I really loved the first Red Dead, and I'm super excited for Red Dead 2. That's why I'm like, come on, just give it to me already. But I appreciate that they are taking the time to make sure that it's a good game and that their fan base is going to be happy with what they're getting.
Yeah.
So I'm not unhappy about it at all. It's just kind of funny. It's just like, here's the game in this state. It's like, no, sorry, we're going to go postpone it again. But this time, instead of them saying a season or a month, they actually have a date. So I think that maybe this might be the final shining moment where we finally can see that game. But anyway,
I guess before I just end this recording, since we're talking a little bit about E3, I guess it kind of relates to it. What about Metroid Prime 4, Rob? Do you think we'll see a gameplay trailer this year?
That, I don't know, it's hard to say with that too, because I mean, And honestly, I don't know whether I think Prime 4 or Pokemon had, like, the more... I don't know how to say, like...
Hype?
Not really, like in terms
resources?
Well, in terms of, like, what they gave us during the presentation, I don't know which one I think is further along.
One of them was fanfare, the other one was the CEO saying it's happening.
Yeah. So, like, I don't really have any baseline to compare it to.
I'm assuming if it's been in development for a year, we might see something.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it'll just be, like, the opening cutscene of the game to give you the premise of what planet you're on.
Yeah, I think they might give something of a reveal of what the game's just even going to look like.
I have my own personal speculation what they're going to do for Metroid. I think Metroid Prime 4 is going to be 2019, or even maybe 2020. I have a feeling at E3 they're going to show off Metroid Prime Trilogy on the Switch.
That'd be cool.
They seem to have no problems re-releasing that one again and again and again, even though it's taken them like 12 years to give us the fourth one. That's my personal theory that they're going to do that. There's no evidence to back that up. It's just a feeling I have. The cat's trying to get in here.
Tipo, what do you want from Pokemon? I agree. That sounds great.
Okay, Tipo, cough medicine for you.
Yeah, okay, I know I've said this like 7 times, but I guess that's it for this.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. Get the fuck out of here.
This chair started to hurt my butt, so I think I need to stand up sometime soon.
Mr. Comfy Chair over here.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Jeez, he gets the
Hey, to be fair, when we do our Let's
chair.
Plays, I always give the comfy chair to you or Jordan.
That's true. But that was a while ago.
That was a while ago.
And now you've taken it for yourself.
That's why he keeps wanting to do podcasts.
No, you just sit in the fucking comfy chair.
They're just so easy to edit, and all I gotta do is talk. It's easier to talk when you're not playing a game.
Too many distractions.
Anyway, that was it.
Alright.
Thanks for listening. If you're still here, God bless you. You've got a good patience. You're very patient.
You're gonna love these next 5 endings.
Oh yeah. No, I vote we do one. I'm really tired of sitting
I'm not even gonna try to transition it. See you next time.
Later.
Bye.
Fuck off.